Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in today's headlines, Malaysia Tzu volunteers visit their care recipient Minache to help her fix up her home. Through the story of Zhuangling Meichen and her good neighbors, we see that Yunlin County's Miaoli Township is full of human warmth in spite of the residents' hardships. And the Global Media Volunteer Training Seminar held at the Luzhou Jingsi Hall in Taiwan come to a successful conclusion on June 28th. In Penang, Malaysia, Tzu care recipient Minache and her family of 5 lives in a home made of corrugated iron and planks. When it rains, waters always leak into their home. Thankfully, Tzu volunteers reach out a helping hand and fix up their home. Minache was very touched and started practicing recycling and donated money to her coin bank. She said that she would like to help those in greater need too. Recently, a village nearby the Malaysia Tzu chapter suffered from heavy rains. Minache, a local resident, and her husband lives in an old house here, which leaks every time it rains.
When it rains, it always reminded me about this house, especially the front, where water would leak in. I also remember the hole behind Mooney Andy's bed. He always needs to put an umbrella behind it to prevent the water from dripping in.
66-year-old Mooney Andy, who suffered from a stroke in 2002, is paralyzed from the waist down. He can only push himself around with his 2 hands. His 6 children have all formed their own family, and Mooney Andy lives with his wife and 3 grandchildren. Thus, no one can make house repairs. The old house is partly made of corrugated iron and planks. As a result, whenever it rained, it leaked. Seeing the living condition of this family, Tzu volunteers not only helped them apply for financial support, but also hired workers to fix their home.
I am very happy that you came to my house and fixed the problems. Before, when it rained, the water would leak in. Now, I don't know how well it will hold against the rain, but I think it should be better than before.
In a little corner of the house, we see a Tzu coin bank.
The other day, Tzu volunteers came and told me that if I donated money into the coin bank, they will collect it and help the needy. So I decided to contribute a little.
To give, you don't have to be rich. As long as you have a compassionate heart, nothing will stop you from helping those in greater need. Li Hua Road in Penang, Malaysia is the site of several low-income housing. Many that live there struggle to make ends meet and often cannot afford medical care. To help, team of volunteers visit the community, offering free medical checkups. The volunteers found out that many residents were malnourished, or over half of those seem to have a combination of high blood pressure, high blood sugar, or were overweight.
Here among the wealth of Penang, there are many that still struggle to make ends meet. Under heavy financial pressure, they often sacrifice their health and the upkeep of their surroundings in order to put food on the table. Today, Tzu volunteers are here to make sure these people finally get the care they deserve. High blood pressure and high blood sugar, warning signs of future health problems, were evident in over half of those checked.
High blood pressure, high blood sugar, diabetes, as well as malnutrition seem to be the most serious problems.
Accompanying this elder, who recently had a colostomy, home volunteers find that, due to a lack of money, he is using plastic bags to defecate in instead of the prescribed sterilized medical pouches. Seeing him covered in his own excrement, team of volunteers immediately make a call for help.
I'm very surprised because Penang is a bustling city, yet still there are so many people with so many problems. Many of them are also young, and they themselves don't know they have high blood pressure or high blood sugar.
In addition to dispensing medical advice, volunteers also transfer those in need of more serious medical care to a nearby hospital.
I feel very satisfied as I was able to get a medical report, which cleared me for a transfer to a hospital, so I can get my condition taken care of.
What they was thinking, there's nobody, people don't want to know them, you see, just ignore them like that, okay? So we hope this will be forever.
Starting with health checkups, Volunteers end with talks on recycling and how to take better care of their environment to ensure that these poor can leave the downward cycle of sickness and poverty.
In Malaysia, the recent Tzu Chi Buddha Day ceremony inspired volunteers to embrace vegetarianism. Her dedication has even inspired her friends and family to try vegetarian dishes, and have found vegetarian cuisine to be rather delicious.
While the Buddha Day ceremony has come to a close, Tzu Chi volunteer Chen Ai-li from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, continues to embrace vegetarianism. What inspired her to become vegetarian for 108 days?
The Buddha has taught us to embrace vegetarianism to save lives. By practicing this, we hope to bring peace and blessings to the world.
Because of the Buddha Day ceremony, Chen's families and friends begin embracing vegetarianism.
When I told my daughter that we will become vegetarian for 108 days, she replied, "Is that 108 days or 108 meals?" And when I asked my husband to do the same, he said, "Sure, no problem. We will eat at home." Many friends in my yoga class are curious about how my vegetarian breakfast tastes. After trying a few bites, they find it to be delicious. Many friends say that they learned about vegetarianism because of me.
After getting to know Chen Ai-li, she shared with us the benefits of vegetarianism, which I think are great.
Whenever Chen Ai-li learns how to make a new vegetarian dish, she shares it with her friends. Because of her dedication, many are no longer afraid to try vegetarian cuisine.
Since Chen Ai-li is vegetarian, as her friends, we have vegetarian food when we eat with her. And before we knew it, we all become vegetarians as well.
In the beginning, my mother would use mushrooms in place of meat in soups. At first, it wasn't so tasty, but now my mother's dishes taste a lot better.
Because of Chen Ai-li's dedication and positive attitude, becoming vegetarian is no longer challenging.
Even though it was difficult at times, I was still able to persevere. After being vegetarian for more than 2 months, I hope to continue on. And if being vegetarian isn't always possible, then maybe I'll be a bit lenient and have the vegetables in meat dishes.
Taiwan has nothing but love and goodness to share with the world. We now go to the impoverished Miaoli township of Yunlin County, where in spite of their own hardship, people still willingly help each other out whenever they can. Here's the story of Zhuangling Meichun.
Knowing that DaAi TV's reporting crew is visiting her, Zhuangling Meichun of Yunlin's Mailiao quickly invites her good neighbors to come. A bag of string beans, a bag of rice, and a bag of vegetarian ingredients, plus recyclables. The good neighbors do not forget to bring gifts when they come. The senior neighbors say they only learned of her plight 5 years ago, when her husband passed away, and she had no money to pay for the funeral. It was then that Tzu Chi volunteers showed up.
Tzu Chi has done so much for her, so we should do what we can too, even though we aren't very well off ourselves.
I see that she has a very difficult life. I like to do good deeds, so I help her out. I share with her whatever I have to eat.
No matter what kind of day it is, I come to check in on her, and if she's up and about, then we are at ease.
Besides her good neighbors, Tzu Chi volunteers also visit Grandma Meichun regularly. Though not yet 65 years old, the senior has a long history of depression and heart and liver disease. Her feet have also deteriorated severely.
My husband was a player and a gambler. He even had kids with other women. Then a Tziji's sister told me her story, and I cried even harder afterwards. I then realized life is about suffering.
Having learned to open her heart, Grandma Meizun knows she can still make a difference.
She's very hardworking. No matter rain or shine, she will go collect recyclables riding in her bicycle. She was willing to let go of the past and open herself up.
Riding her tricycle, the senior eagerly explains which households also help her in recycling.
I do maybe 4 to 5 or even 6 trips a day. This is not very hard as long as I'm riding my bike. But if I have to walk instead, I will fall. I just do the best that I can with the limited amount of time I have. Don't waste your time on meaningless things, or do meaningful work that can help others. People help me out, I reciprocate. It's all good.
Finishing her rounds, Grandma Meizun also received a cut watermelon, some sweet potatoes, and 3 bananas from her loving neighbors. Mai Liao certainly is full of human warmth.
The whole world is one family. The earth is the one bed we all share. We need to be there for our neighbors. She is blessed. Taiwan's indigenous people are known for their colorful culture and close-knit communities. However, such traits are slowly being lost to modernization. In modernization, this kind of relationship is slowly falling apart. Since lack of opportunity, they're slowly losing confidence in their way of life. However, in Taiwan's Nantou County's Qinghai village, indigenous children are finding new confidence and bringing it back into their tribal community.
He says, "Look at me, I'm a true warrior. I have 7 gods, don't provoke me."
Interweaved into the drum beats is the rich language of the indigenous people.
In our drumming performance, we incorporate this song because our instructor, Ibao, is also a native Taiwanese. She tries hard to promote indigenous culture. In battle, she helped us to add an indigenous folk song.
Every week, students of Qinghai Elementary School have a class on their indigenous language.
Not only do they learn in school, but I also tell them when they go back to their settlement to practice with their elders too.
Although drum is not a traditional indigenous instrument, it can help bring indigenous culture to life. The instrument is now commonly seen during indigenous festivals. This day is the start of glutinous rice season for Inako.
On July 1st, our students from the school's drum team are competing in a national drum kim competition. I hope parents can show their support for these children because all the learning and hard work will pay off in the end.
On this festive day, the whole village comes out together. This is when glutinous rice is planted in the fields.
It starts to rain in May, June, right? When it rains, we have to immediately make a hole in the ground and plant the seeds. Our tribal elder says this is our glutinous rice. It's been around since the Japanese occupation.
In his hands are the finest seedlings.
Other places don't have this species of seed.
Through the festival, tribal elders hope the children will take on the tribal tradition and spirit. With confidence in the children's eyes, even the adults are changing for the better.
That force is deeply rooted. Parents in our tribal community are slowly feeling the change. Their attitude switched into giving back, the power of giving back, no matter if it is monetary, material, or physical, are becoming more evident.
Giving without asking for anything in return has brought the tribe closer together.
What I'm most proud of isn't when someone says that my students play the drums or the violin well, but when they say, your kids are so well behaved, this is enough for me. That means that I have brought them up right. This is the kind of return on investment that is intangible, but we can feel it in our hearts.
In the Philippines, university student Clara Marie Kangat, who has excelled academically since young, lives in poverty. Her excellent achievement won her a scholarship from the Far Eastern University. Unfortunately, she couldn't find the balance between school and work, was later forced to drop out. Luckily, she found Tzu Chi and started to work under its relief work program. Now with enough money, Clara can finally return to school. Hanging on the wall, these are medals Clara Marie Kangat received in school. In spite of living in poverty, she excels academically. Unfortunately, she couldn't manage her busy work schedule and classwork at the same time and was forced to drop out of school after she could no longer afford the tuition. Luckily, Tzu Chi's relief work program gave her a chance to earn much needed money.
My husband and I are very happy. We couldn't support her education, but she can rely on herself and earns money from Tzu Chi's relief work program.
Before returning to school, Clara volunteered at various Tzu Chi events, such as home visits, free clinics, and rice distributions. She says through volunteering, she got rid of her bad temper.
After I met Tzu Chi, I learned to smile, because when you smile, others will smile too.
After she met Tzu Chi, she learned to overcome her shyness and started to interact with others.
Every day, Clara Marie Kangat receives 250 peso from Tzu Chi's relief work program. When she goes home, she always gives her money to her parents. However, they never take any money from her. Over the past 10 months, she has already saved enough money for her tuition, along with the money to fix their kitchen.
I just worry about my tuition, but there are still many that can't even afford food or don't have a place to live.
Now back in school and debt-free, Clara Marie Kangat can finally pursue her education again. Tzu Chi volunteers also promised to provide her with a scholarship in the future. In thanks, she hopes to spread the love she received from Tzu Chi to others around her. On the last day of the Global Media Volunteers Training Seminar in Taiwan on Thursday, June 28, participants all took to the stage to share what they have learned in the past few days. One volunteer from Malaysia, Li Jiayi, says she has gained much wisdom and enlightenment in Tzu Chi. Working in Tzu Chi is really wonderful because when we go for interviews, people always say thank you to us.
Sharing with her fellow volunteers from around the globe her personal experience, Malaysia media volunteer Li DaAi once had little idea of the outside world and never realized there were millions of people living in poverty. Since joining Tzu Chi, she's seeing the world in a new perspective.
It is through these interviews that I feel my perspective has changed, so I think I really need Tzu Chi. If I leave this organization one day, I will go back to living a meaningless life. So coming here has really enlightened me.
On the last day of the Media Volunteers Training Seminar in Taiwan, Dharma masters from the Jingsi abode give their words of encouragement.
Camera lenses are small, but what they capture is long-lasting and will be there for many generations. We share the same goal and we must work hard together.
One by one, the participants each receive a small gift at the closing ceremony, a group photo of all the volunteers at the training seminar.
This photo is taken with all the participants of this Global Media Volunteers Training Seminar. I think I'm here. It is really moving.
Media volunteers all agree that the seminar, which took place in Luzhou, only marks the beginning of a new chapter to their Tzu Chi path.
The Global Media Volunteers Training Seminar, held from June 25th to 28th at the Luzhou Jingsi Hall in New Taipei City, Taiwan, is an annual event in which media volunteers from around the globe arrive to take part. Among this year's participants are 11 staff from Indonesia DaAi TV. With professional knowledge in hand, these DaAi TV staff wanted to learn more about Tzu Chi's humanitarian spirit.
Here at the Global Media Volunteers Training Seminar, among the participants from some 18 countries are staff from Indonesia's DaAi TV, who are listening intently to a Jingsi abode master's lecture.
The master's Dharma is not in great depth because she is trying to make it simple for us to understand.
With professional knowledge and the skills of a media worker, it is Tzu Chi's humanitarian spirit, however, that many want to gain a deeper understanding of.
He is also one of our Tzu Chi alumni and he studied in media. So he hopes to pass on that sense of mission.
Hassan, who is in Taiwan for the second time, came to Hualien 8 years ago to express gratitude to Tzu Chi on behalf of the Anchor River residents. Back then, he promised the master that he will learn to speak Mandarin and promote Tzu Chi's work.
Master, I'm Hassan. I want to be the master's eyes and hands and spread beauty and kindness. I will be a great disciple.
Soon after Hassan graduated, he began working at Indonesia's DaAi TV. Despite the language barrier at the seminar, the young man and his fellow colleagues all try to learn whatever they can.
We don't just judge professionally, but from a humanitarian point of view. Through the process of accompanying our writers, we demonstrate our humanitarian spirit.
This trip to Taiwan has been an inspirational one for the DaAi TV staff from Indonesia. They all vow to put what they have learned to good use when they return home.
At the end of today's show, we traveled to the United States for the conclusion of the 3-day large-scale Tzu Chi free clinic in St. Bernardino. To make sure they don't miss the last day of the free clinic, many residents arrived early in the morning. However, there were still many waiting for their turns when the event ended by noon. To make sure they received medical treatments, the residents were referred to the local Tzu Chi free clinic center. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.